Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Lady Death, Scorched Earth, issue 2 of 2. This is a mini-series from 2020. It's only 2 issues, but it is part of an ongoing storyline from Coffin Comics, written by Brian Pulido and MacLean, illustrated by Diego Bernard, colored by Ceci Cruz, lettered by Dillon. I have the standard edition cover by Krome and Ceci Cruz. So Wargoth and some of the others have been captured by Halo's minions, and we do meet somebody that looks a lot like Lady Death, has that same pale skin, named Hannah. Now, Lady Death is overrun with emotion at the death of her friend, but Brock's death is causing her to kind of lose control. Because of her temper, they end up going down in the helicopter, and we do find out that one of the people in the helicopter does have a historical connection to Lady Death and the events that happened on Staten Island that made her go into exile. Chaotica loses control of her powers for a minute, and her and Lady Death go at it for a little while, but ultimately they do have to lay siege to this facility to rescue their friends and fight some bad guys. The fight scenes are really well done, and there's no real good way to get out of that without getting injured. And although they did rescue some of their friends, things are not over. So this does lead into Blasphemy Anthem. So this is chapter 9 part 2 they call it, but it's Scorched Earth number 2 of 2. Overall, I thought the story was good. It's very comic book oriented, very much like a standard comic book would have been in the 80s from Marvel or the 90s. The art is very solid overall. There were a few issues I had with minor things, but pretty solid art. The women look very sexy and the men look buff and athletic, and they don't sit around eating all the time. So good story overall, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes. Thankfully, I do have Blasphemy Anthem, both parts of that, so we'll be looking at those next, but I thought this was fun. The original price for this was $5, which is a little high for 2020, and it still is now, but I would say it's actually not that bad because it's better than almost anything from the big 2 these days. So worth checking out, and I would say if you can afford to pick it up, grab it out of a discount bin somewhere. Should be able to find it for cover price or less. I found it for $2. Took me a long time to find it, obviously, but I did find it, and I'm glad I did. The cover is good, but it doesn't really relate to what's going on in the book. It's more of a pinup, which is pretty common with a lot of the Lady Death stuff. Overall, it was a fun read and definitely worth checking out. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.